Hi, everyone. I'm Jimmy Kidd, and I'm the Assistant Vice President for Student Affairs with Jefferson Community and Technical College. And I am here with Elizabeth Tier.
Hello.
And Elizabeth is our Associate Director for Recruitment and Admissions. And this week, for the first time ever with us, Elizabeth, we have guests. So, Amani and Ariana, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, thanks, Jimmy. I'll go ahead and get started. My name is Amani Miles. I am a Student Success Coordinator with Evolve502.
Hi, my name is Ariana Del Toro, and I'm also a Student Success Coordinator with Evolve502.
Thank you all. Amani, this is our second time on video. Last time was with Evolve502, so it's nice. We flipped roles.
Right, it's nice.
Yeah. So to get us kicked off, we're going to be discussing Evolve502 today, which is an exciting opportunity for so many of our students. The Jefferson County Public School system has a wonderful opportunity with the city now with Evolve502. And we're going to be discussing that a little bit. But before we get into that, I want to let everyone know that registration for spring 2021. So if you're here looking for spring, we are taking admits right now. We are getting people registered right now, and we are moving forward with spring. So if you have a question about that, please don't hesitate to ask. We can help. But our primary focus today is going to be with Evolve502. We're going to be discussing that here in a second, but I wanted to make sure all of our seniors know, if you're watching right now, it is time to get serious about college. I know May seems like it's 1,000 years away, but May is not 1,000 years away. You're going to be graduating here fairly soon, and you're going to be wanting to enroll in college. And our registration actually begins on March 1st for the fall. So, and we'll be having some early orientations in March, and we'll be moving forward a little bit with that. So high school seniors, start prepping now. And you're saying, well, Jimmy, what do we have to do to get started? So the very first step is you got to apply to Jefferson. You can submit that application at our homepage. You can go through opendoors.us or jefferson.kctcs.edu. And it's a fairly quick application, should take you no more than 10 to 15 minutes. We do have help available if you need help with completing that application. We can help you with that. If for some reason you can't use a computer to complete it, we've even got some ways to get it done, and we can figure out how to get a paper copy from you. Make sure that you submit all of your ACT test results and your high school GPA. One of the good things this year is we used the GPA for placement purposes, so we could place you into classes. In the past, we've always used placement scores for that, but this year we were able to do that, and we just received word for the 2020-2021 school year we'll be able to use your high school GPA as well. So make sure that you submit an unofficial copy of your high school GPA initially, so we can take a look at that GPA, and then after you graduate, we're going to need another copy of that transcript showing that you graduated. Explore your financial aid options. We're going to be talking about some of those here in a minute. And then you're also going to want to attend a SOAR, that's what we call orientation, and you get registered for classes through the orientation process. I'm going to let Elizabeth talk very briefly about that. So, Elizabeth?
Yes, so we do have lots of virtual services that are available right now for students who have questions. Like Jimmy said, maybe you would like help submitting an application, or you just like to talk with someone about the process in general. We do have virtual office hours right now available for students. And you can see this is the page on our website. If you scroll down below our contact information, you'll see that we have virtual office hours Monday through Friday, and you can also request to meet with me on the weekend if you're not able to do anything during the week. So we want to make sure that we are fully available for students. And then I also wanted to quickly show you our SOAR link. So this is what all students who are new to Jefferson have to fill out in order to request their student orientation, advising, and registration session. So it's a very, very quick form, as you can see, just a few questions. Once you submit that, our orientation office will get back to you and we will set up an orientation date for you, whether that's a very, very small, safe in-person session, a virtual live SOAR, or our online SOAR modules. So lots of different options for students, and this will be the same for those of you who are high school seniors right now. And all of this orientation stuff will begin, like Jimmy said, on March 1st when registration opens. Back to you, Jimmy.
Thank you. Before we turn it over to the Evolve 502 folks, one of the very first steps in getting your Evolve 502 scholarship is you must complete a FAFSA. So we do need you to complete the FAFSA. We want you to complete the FAFSA because you never know what you're eligible for when it comes to federal aid. Having worked in financial aid in a previous life, I know that to be true, and I've worked with many students who would come in and say, oh, I didn't even know I was eligible for that. And so we want to make sure that you get that taken care of. So the first step is you got to complete the FAFSA. And if you are struggling with completing the FAFSA, there is a group here in the city of Louisville known as the Kentuckiana College Access Center. And they do wonderful work, and they will help you complete your FAFSA. They are holding FAFSA webinars every Wednesday, and you can look into them. And most of the time at the college, you'll hear us call them the KCAC, but they can help you complete the FAFSA. So please don't go into it thinking that you are on your own with completing the FAFSA. One of the next steps is you must complete an Evolve 502 scholarship, and that app is currently open. I'm going to let our Evolve 502 reps take it over from here and start talking a little bit about the scholarship and the application process.
Can you all hear me? I was muted. Sorry. So thank you for having us today. We're super excited to be here and talk about the scholarship. I'll go ahead and start by getting into what the scholarship is. The Evolve 502 Scholarship is a last dollar scholarship program. So the scholarship is going to cover students' tuition after federal aid and state aid have been applied. The scholarship is open to all eligible Jefferson County Public School students at the class of 2021, and it will allow students to attend JCTC for free. You can earn a 2-year associate's degree, a workforce credential, or use a scholarship as a pathway to earn a 4-year degree. And that brings me to another really great opportunity we have in addition to the scholarship, which is the Opportunity Grant. And the Opportunity Grant is eligible for students with a household income of $40,000 or below. And those students will receive $1,000 per semester, which is up to $2,000 per year. And this will help students pay for any unexpected expenses that might occur while they're enrolled. So anything that comes up as a college student, which can be a plethora of different barriers, that's to help alleviate that. And also with the Opportunity Grant, that brings us to another thing we're really excited to talk about, which is our partnership with U of L. And so eligible Opportunity Grant students also have the opportunity to continue their education at the University of Louisville tuition free. And these students must obtain an associate's degree from an eligible institution. So in this case, it's JCTC as an Evolve Scholar and transfer immediately to U of L to remain eligible for this opportunity. So for those students, U of L is going to provide a last dollar scholarship, and they can pursue their final 2 years at U of L tuition free. But we are going to have more information and details about that coming in the next upcoming months. But now I'm going to stop talking for a second, and I'll let Ariana talk about the process for applying for the scholarship.
Yes, so the process is really simple. We try to make it as easier and accessible as possible for the students. To complete the online application, you can go to our website, evolve502.org, scholarship application. It really only takes 1 to 2 minutes to apply. And here is a run through of what our website looks like. And we go over everything that the scholarship entails. We talk about what the application process will look like. You will need access to the following information. You will need your legal name, date of birth, personal and JCPS email. This is really important because this is how we'll get in touch with you right after you fill out the application. You will need your phone number, home address, high school, and expected graduation date. I really want to emphasize to double check when you put your graduation date, since this year, the class of 2021, it's eligible for the scholarship. We have had a few students applying with the different graduation years, so we want to emphasize that for this scholarship is for class of 2021 students graduating JCPS and attending an eligible institution. So the scholarship is now open. The deadline is June 30th. Don't wait. This is what the scholarship looks like. You have your first name, last name, date of birth, and all of the information that usually you know by hand. So you also have a list of colleges that you will be applying to or you have already applied. So you don't even have to bother just going through and figuring out what college you already applied through your email and nothing like that. We already provided the list for you in here. So just go ahead and click on the colleges that you applied and we'll get that immediately. Right after that, you just click submit and somebody from our team will follow up with you 48 hours later. We're really trying to stay on top of this, just following up with students and making sure that they hear back from us right after they fill out the application. Remember that you must complete your FAFSA. This is really important in order to qualify for the scholarship as well. And then if you want more information, just visit our website, evolve502.org.
And Jimmy, let me know if this is a good opportunity. I'm also can talk about eligibility. Okay, great.
Please.
So for Evolve502 Scholarship eligibility, to be eligible for the scholarship, you must have attended a JCPS school since at least the 9th grade and graduated from a JCPS high school. Another important aspect of that is any student wishing to receive this scholarship must be eligible to receive KEYS money. So that's Kentucky Educational Excellence Scholarship, but it doesn't mean that you actually have to have accrued that money. It just means you need to be eligible for it in order to be eligible for the Evolve502 Scholarship. Also, students who meet all other eligibility criteria and were enrolled in JCPS since at least the 9th grade and earned a GED within 12 months of their original high school graduation date, they're also eligible for the Evolve502 Scholarship. And even if you believe you may not meet the full eligibility requirements and are interested in the scholarship, please just go ahead and apply. Someone from our team will follow up with you at a later date and have you complete an appeals form. And then we'll follow up with you directly after that to go through those things. I also want to take a little bit of time to talk about maintaining eligibility. So this is once you meet all the original eligibility requirements, this is how you make sure you maintain the scholarship, which is, as we've talked about, gain admission into an eligible institution, JCTC, as we are here today. Completing the FAFSA, we can't stress that enough. Complete the FAFSA, complete the FAFSA, complete the FAFSA. Enroll in at least 9 credit hours at the institution by the fall semester. Next is following high school, or make sure you graduate high school. I mean, that's a given. And successfully complete 9 credit hours each semester. And another main important part is you have to maintain satisfactory academic progress, or where you may have seen it as SAP while you're enrolled. And that's pretty much just standards that ensure that you are successfully completing your coursework. And that's all I've got for the scholarship. Are we taking questions, or how are we moving forward with that?
We'll be taking questions. I just want to reemphasize with everyone that there is an appeals process in place, correct? You mentioned that. So that's one of the questions that I think that we've gotten kind of up at the front end. If someone moved in, let's say halfway through freshman year of high school, and they want to appeal that, there is an appeal process in place.
Right. Absolutely. We want anyone who's interested to go ahead and apply. And as Ariana mentioned, someone will be reaching out to you about that process or your eligibility status.
So that is awesome. That's so important. One of the things that I was very encouraged by was a couple of things. One was the U of L commitment at the back end of the after the students get their associate's degree. That is amazing and awesome, and shout out to our partners at U of L, which we have had a wonderful working relationship with for years. We have the Ultra program at Jefferson that helps students transfer to U of L. So very, very encouraged by that. And if you have questions about Ultra, we can help there. And then two was also the students who maybe just missed a little bit and are completing their GED. That was wonderful to see that we were able to, you all were able to help out in that manner. So, and yeah, there's a comment. All of the 16 KCTCS schools in Simmons are the recipients, and we're lucky enough to be one of those, and very excited to see that, because we know, and I've said this all along every time I do a high school presentation, and I think Elizabeth does the same. We show the slide of where the KCTCS community college schools are, and there is a school within 30 minutes of like 95% of all Kentuckians, a campus. So if you move away for whatever reason, and we know students move away, don't forget that if you graduate from JCPS and you want your college paid for, and you want to go to Ashland or Bluegrass or West Kentucky, please don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers. So we want to make sure that everyone applies. So we have opened it up to questions. Any questions that anyone may have? I know that I see Elizabeth blinking in and out there occasionally. Last time we gave a minute or two, and the first time we did it, we had several questions. The next time we didn't have any questions, so we'll see if we fall anywhere in between. Give it a minute. Is there anything additional that you all can think of? When any advice that you want to give anybody senior year? I know you asked me that in our last one, so.
Advice. I feel like that it's constantly changing, how I think about that question, or what I think about when I speak to students, because I mean, we're in a pandemic and there's so many different things going on. It just looks very different. But one of the number one things I would say in terms of advice, take advantage of all the opportunities that are in front of you. As I mentioned before, if we're talking about specifically about this scholarship, even if you feel like you're not eligible, just go ahead and apply anyway. Go ahead and take advantage, get as much information as you can, because you never know, like it could still end up working out for you. So don't get discouraged if you're even thinking about it. Go ahead and do it. And you could change your mind. You could, other things could happen. You could make other decisions, but might as well just go for anything that you're thinking about.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and it's really important also to keep in mind that the scholarship is open for a really long period of time. So students are going to have a long time to apply. So even if right now you're not sure that you want to go to college, just go ahead and apply and fill out your FAFSA. It's going to take you a matter of minutes just to go through this process. And even, right now you might be thinking, oh, I don't want to go to school. I'll just figure it out after graduation. But maybe after May, you're thinking, oh, maybe I want to go to a community college, and then, it might be too late. So just go ahead and apply right now that you have time. You're not going to lose anything. And even if you decide after that you don't want to follow up with it, it's fine. It's totally fine. So we really open it up. and so the scholarship has the same window as the FAFSA does. So the deadline for the FAFSA is June 30th, 11:59 p.m., and that's our same deadline for the scholarship. So it's really open the same amount of time as the FAFSA is. That's what we're also emphasizing, fill out the FAFSA as well.
Completely agree. And one of the things that I have noticed through the years and have actually discussed with students is we actually peak generally in applications in July, which a lot of people are surprised by. But I believe one of the things that happens is students go to an orientation at another school and then maybe figure out that leaving home isn't what they want to do, or they don't have the funding that they thought they were going to have. And so they're going to start at the community college and then transfer on. And you are correct. Do it now. Don't worry about it. And then if things happen and you know that your plan is not going to Jefferson or one of the 16 schools in Kentucky, then you can, if plans don't work out the way they expect, you can always come back to us. We are always here. We do have a question. I'll read it. Is a student eligible for the last 2 years for free at U of L, even if they make more than $40,000 a year? That's part one. And then part two, also, if someone does not qualify for financial aid, will Evolve502 pay? And let's take that second question first, because I think that's one that I think is going to be asked a lot in a lot of different ways. I don't want to make assumptions, but typically when someone asks that of me, or when I was at financial aid and they would ask that question of me, what they were meaning was, I don't qualify for grants, but I do qualify for loans. So let's start with, let's say a student only qualifies for loans. Are they going to be eligible for Evolve502?
So yes, it just means that students need to complete the FAFSA and be eligible for aid. So just eligible. So that's the word that we keep using, is eligibility, not necessarily like accrued. And the second part of, was there a second part of the question?
There was the student being eligible for the last 2 years for free at U of L, even if they make more than $40,000 a year.
Oh, I see it. Okay. Actually, and there's something that I do want to add, because you did talk about one interpretation of if someone doesn't qualify for financial aid. But there is another aspect that we are upfront about, and which could be there are other reasons people aren't eligible for financial aid or can't complete or don't complete a FAFSA. And this is a limitation of the scholarship. We understand that it potentially can leave out, certain people. And this is something we're working hard to fix as a new privately funded program. And we just have to be sure we can pay for this part of our program first. So that's something go ahead.
That is part of the plan, correct? That ultimately you would like for students, whether or not they can complete the FAFSA or not, to be able to be eligible for the scholarship, correct? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but ultimately that is part of the plan, if possible.
Right. So it's something we're working hard to fix that. And our team is really trying to work through that. And it is a limitation we're aware of. We're not happy about it, but we are open and honest about it.
Yeah. And then the U of L part. So if it's currently my understanding, and you correct me if I'm wrong, is that a student must have the opportunity grant. So make less, the household income must be less than 40,000 in order to continue on the promise part of the U of L scholarship, correct?
Right, that is correct. So if students are eligible for our opportunity grant, those are the students that are eligible for the 2 years at the University of Louisville.
Now, one of the things that I do recommend in this instance, let's say student is making, or the household income is more than 40,000, is that student does join the Ultra program. Because if the student joins the Ultra program, then they're going to be eligible for the transfer scholarships that U of L also offers when the student transfers out. So it would mean that you have some wiggle room as far as possibly earning, maybe not a full tuition scholarship, but a partial scholarship. And also at that point, if you've joined Ultra, there are a lot of benefits to joining Ultra, but one of those benefits is they're going to waive the application fee at U of L. You're able to get a student ID at U of L, and you're able to attend U of L events when we're allowed to attend U of L events again, when we're not wearing masks in public. And so you're able to do some of that. So I encourage all students to look at using Ultra if you're thinking about transferring onto U of L. But in this instance, especially if you're making the more than $40,000 as a household income. And any other questions? Thank you, Janet, for that question. Okay, we are going to wrap it up. If you all have any questions or think of, there we go. Also, will JCTC advise which classes will transfer to U of L so credits are not lost? That is an excellent question. Yes, and that's also part of what Ultra does. Ultra uses, they have advisors on campus when we're officially back on campus. Right now it is remotely, and you get advised by a Jefferson team member, and then you can also be advised for by Ultra for U of L. So they're kind of making sure that you're staying on target for your pathway once you get to U of L, and you're only going to end up in those 300 and 400 level courses for the most part. And one of the nice things about it, if you're in Ultra, they really encourage being a visiting student or doing metroversity. I almost said Metro College. Thank you, Elizabeth. Metroversity, where you can take a course at U of L at the Jefferson rate. So you've got some wiggle room there, and that's something that they really get into in advising and get into when they are working with the Ultra team. And having seen a couple of questions about Ultra, we might want to look at having Wes Parton and the transfer services team at U of L as one of our Facebook Lives. So.
And I cannot stress enough the wonderful thing that the Advising Center is. They are fantastic. Whether you're seeing a Jefferson advisor, you're seeing an Ultra advisor, or you're going to our transfer center and you're working with someone who's helping you transfer to a different university. Their job is to make sure that you are on track, not only for your graduation at Jefferson, if you're pursuing a certificate, diploma, or degree with us, but also that your credits are lined up to transfer correctly to whatever college or university you are transferring to. And so at orientation, one of the biggest things that we stress is, number one, always be in communication with your advisor. Every semester before you register for classes, please talk to an advisor. And number two, just make sure that you also talk with your instructors as well. Instructors at Jefferson have just a plethora of knowledge. They're really good at what they do. And so if you have questions about, well, what does this program, like what kind of a job could I get with this program, or what would this help me to do? They are awesome information givers about whatever kind of career you're looking into. So always see the Advising Center and talk to your instructors. That is some of the best advice I could possibly give this new generation of college students, because I know it's really easy to just say, well, I just send an email or message through this app, but always having that conversation. Eventually, maybe we'll get back to face-to-face, but even remotely, Jefferson is here for students virtually as well.
Yep. Completely agree. All right. Thank you all very much, and thank you both for taking your time out of your day to help promote Evolve 502. We are excited to have you all and excited for the opportunity for Jefferson County Public Schools students to go and get a community college associate's degree for free, and that is huge. We're very, very excited. So thank you both, and thank you all for watching.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much.